which the admission section has been conducting across all the branches of engineering to give an insight into the various branch perspectives to the parents as well as the aspiring students. So today we have, as part of this panel discussions, we have the Department of EEE who is conducting this panel discussion, and we have the panel members available with us today. So I request all the parents, whoever are logged in, or the students, whoever are logged in, to please hear out the discussion, and later on you can put forth your questions, whatever you want to ask related to the branch towards the end of the session. So I welcome the panel members. So first I would like to welcome Mr. Jagadishwar Chintalpalli, the Chief Executive Officer of Srishti Precast Private Limited, who is one of our panel members who is joining today. Welcome you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. So next we have Supriya, who is an embedded software developer from GE Renewable Energy. Supriya, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Next we have Mr. D. Raju, Deputy General Manager, Electrical Erection Department, NTPC. Welcome you, Mr. Raju.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, all.
Yeah, good morning. Next we have Mr. Vishwateja, who is a Technical Project Manager from Automotive Robert Bosch Limited. Welcome, Mr. Vishwateja.
Thank you, ma'am. Hi, everyone. Very good morning.
Yeah. Next we have Mr. Subramani, who is a software engineer from Deloitte. Welcome, Mr. Subramani.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, all.
Good morning, everyone. And next, I would like to welcome our Dean Academics, Mrs. K. Anuradha, ma'am, Professor, who is also from the EEE department. Welcome, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Anuradha, ma'am.
Madam, unmute, please.
Yeah, thank you, Kantasudha madam, for the nice initiative what is taken from the admission section of VNRVJIT, and I welcome all the distinguished panel members for this august occasion of interaction with the aspiring admission seekers of the EEE department of VNRVJIT. Thank you all.
Yeah. So next, I would like to welcome our head of the department, Mrs. Poonam Upadhyay. Welcome you, ma'am. So before I start off with this panel discussion, so I would just like to our parents and our students to listen out to HOD, head of the department of EEE department, who is Dr. Poonam Upadhyay, who will be briefing you a little bit about the department in VNR Vignan Jyoti Institute of Engineering and Technology.
Yes.
Welcome, ma'am, Poonam ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you, madam. Just I'll give a small presentation. Yes, and then it will be over to panel members.
Yes.
Please keep the presentation. Yeah, so coming to Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, it has been established in 1995. So with the intake of 20 BTech and EEE, and over the years it extended to 120. And it is accredited since 2008, and we have two postgraduate program, MTech in Power Electronics and MTech in Power System. Since 2019, there has been we are research center since last 6 years, but we have got the PhD scholars also since 2019. So we have PhD scholars from NDF, AICT, and from JNTU Hyderabad also as full-time research scholars. So currently 3 research scholars are there who are working in our institute. And 37 faculty members, out of which 60% faculty are with PhD degree, and others are in different stages of their PhD. And overall average experience of faculty, if we say there are from young to the senior level, average experience is 12 years of experience we have in the department. And we have lot of research grants, faculty are executing different projects and applying for different funding projects where a student get exposure to work in the different projects along with the faculty also. So we have a lot of funding from UGC, from DST, and from other sectors also. AICT, like that many fundings are there. Next slide. like overall, if we say if we say the credentials of our faculty, so there are like 400 plus publications are there in the reputed journal, international journal, national journal, and conferences also, out of which many good citations are there by faculty member. And from department, we have filed 4 patents our faculty have filed, and out of which 2 patents have gone into the examination level. Soon it will be granted also. So that is the status. So all of us are working, striving hard towards research and giving that exposure to student also. If you take the competency level of our faculty, so we have like different competency level: design and control of machines, electric vehicle charging stations, artificial intelligence and machine learning, wind, solar, power integration, Internet of Things, advanced control system, FPGAs, like image processing, deep learning, electric grid reliability, design thinking, like that. We have different expertise, and there is a practice in the institute because we work along with the national schemes also, like NPTEL, Coursera, and AWS from Amazon. Like, people get certification also in the advanced technology. So people always keep on upgrading and on par with the industry. So that's what the culture in the department. And currently ongoing projects are there from DST, like development of low cost, efficient, fast charging station, electric vehicle charging application, which is going on. And recently we have got interdisciplinary project along with the mechanical department, that is development of structures for solar desalination. And in past also, since 2014, lot of culture is there, research culture is there in the department. We have already executed 5 UGC minor projects worth of 15 lakhs. And we got the DST feast funding to establish the advanced controls, advanced digital signal processing lab, which is there in the PG block. And because you all are alumni, you will visit sometimes, you can see we have this lab. Deep learning based smart assistance, blind people project, our faculty has done, developed a assistant system. And many other funding schemes are there. We have done national seminars, international seminar conferences, and we have upgraded our projects using AICT ModRops also. So 25 lakh projects are there. Next, please. Next slide. So this is just a glimpse of we proudly say that our faculty from the department have trained the Hyundai Mobile Company. Hyundai Automobile Company. Their engineers, they have given training. So this is the officials of company, they visited our campus, and then we designed a course structure for them, and our people have gone there and trained them, and they came for laboratory work, for learning of different experiments and different softwares. They came to our institute and they learned from us. So that's what it has happened. And we also executed one consultancy project from CDSI Electricals. We trained their engineers in NI LabVIEW based programming, where they have done the no-load transformer co-loss acquisition through the automated system. Next slide, please. These are the glimpse of our labs, how we have gone for the advancement. Now the basic electrical lab is not just a simple experiment where people are working on the breadboard and on the machines and other things. They get the idea of the data acquisition system. So we have upgraded our lab at that level. Right from first year, they get this exposure. And we have solar training kit. We have emulator. We can execute the data of solar data from anywhere of the world, and we can do the simulation in our laboratory. So that's how it has been upgraded, and a lot of exposure our students get participating in different project competitions. And open house is a culture in the institute and department. Next slide. So these are like some competition where our students have gone and achieved the Lawrence, like got the Lawrence for the department. Like a Smart India Hackathon, our students have gone till final level, and they developed a device where like you can move the traffic based on the pollution level. So that's what they have done. And our students have designed drone also and presented to ZF India and got prize. It is a social impact project which our students have executed for the agriculture management thing. And these are some other things where electric vehicle project and hybrid vehicle project our student work. So these are the different glimpse you can see, different pictures you can see in the slide. Next. Some claims which we do it from the department, though we are electrical and electronics engineering people, but students are trained in such a way that they get ample of opportunity in the IT sectors also. So students get placed in various reputed IT sectors in the country, like 70% placement they get in IT sectors, 20% placement. Bhavani madam, please.
Bhavani madam, please unmute. Mute yourself.
20% placement we get in core companies, like we get very reputed companies in and around Hyderabad to get placement for our student. And like our student now get lot of opportunities in from industry for internship. So some students get internship, they execute, they start working with the industry right from 4th year, 2nd semester onwards. And there is a very strong practice which has come to the institute, like mentoring and training right from 1st year. So we do the lot of SWOT analysis of the student, what are the weaknesses and challenges a student have to face. So depending upon the weak areas, training is provided to the student right from 1st year. And curriculum, madam will be speaking later, but we have lot of our course in such a way that they get exposure right from 1st year. So you may be hearing, like people here, like now coding skill, people are expecting right from 6th class onwards, right? But the exact logical and problem solving ability develops once they have little mathematical and physical understanding of the system. Right, so we understand all those things and give the training accordingly right from 1st year. So a lot of offers are there for the student, and students are getting placed. Recently, we have the our 3rd year student who got placed in JPMC in 3rd year itself and got the 14 lakh package. And it is like they are competing along with the other engineering branches of the institute. And one pride thing is like our student Tejas, recent 2020 graduated the student who got opportunity to work in ISC Bangalore for their healthcare sector. Advantage this student has got, like he got direct recruitment from Siemens Healthcare. So that's how they have got the, they have grown up in the department in this way. Lot of recruiters are there. This is well known. They come, there is no distinction, there is no discrimination between the branches, and they equally give priority to all the branch of engineering of VNR VJIT. So these are our major recruiters. Next, please. Proudly we say that like this is our department strength. We have like 37 faculty, 9 non-teaching staff. There is skilled non-teaching support which we get in the department. In all the lab they support. In research and development also a lot of contribution will be there by them, and they will support in every aspects of our department and for the development of a student also. So this is like along with the faculty, they also will be with us. And we have two main mentors who guide us in all the aspects, right from designing. Since we have become autonomous in 2011 onwards, they are there with us. Their association is since 2007. But we got the autonomy since 2011-12 onwards. So what should be there in the course curriculum and how a student will be benefited? Dr. M. Ramamurthy, who is former Director General of CPRI, he is always with us. What kind of course should be there? What kind of project should be there? How a student will grow in all the kind of sectors, that his guidance will be there. And Dr. Raghupati Bulani from University of Southern Illinois, he is always there with us and guide us in all aspects of development for faculty as well as for a student. So this is a small thing from the department side.
Thank you, ma'am. It was indeed a great pleasure hearing out from you about the department and the various things that are done in the department. So now I would like to request our Dean Academics, Dr. K. Anuradha ma'am, to speak a little bit about the curriculum aspects. Since VNR is very strongly known for its very good academics, so I would like to parents also to hear out to ma'am, since ma'am is also from EEE department and she happens to be the Dean Academics, who's instrumental with, behind the syllabus framing and all these things. So ma'am, over to you ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Kantisada would be doctor, who has recently submitted her PhD also. Congratulations, madam. And it is a great, like you can say, the moments for all of us as being a family of electrical engineering. We see our alumni into various fields, wherein like panelists itself, lot of diversified fields of engineering, how the dedicated and committed faculty members and you can say like the supporting staff of the department and also the mentors of the department, with the help of that, how the students are groomed. Like you can see from the panelists also, one from like public sector, like you can see highly distinguished position. NTPC is the, you can say, nation's pride. And you can see the entrepreneur, like who is always like ready to connect with the department more than as like we always thank Jagdishwar for that. With the kind of proactive support that is always there for the institute and as well department. And we can see here like Vishwateja, who is always like, you can say, connect with the students and lot of, you can, along with the technicalities, how the personality development in various extracurricular and co-curricular will help the career of the student. He is the example for the department, Vishwateja. Nice to meet you. And Supriya, like you can say, always we see 2009 batch. That batch, if you see like all students, you cannot point out like who is a slow learner here. That is how like all are very good settled. The batch 2009 batch, which is we still remember that was the JNTU curriculum, where 2009 means like JNTU curriculum, and after that we have gone for our own curricular design aspects. And Subramani, when you look here, like basically into a software industry, but a lot of queries like the way he has addressed into the curricular aspects. I still remember that. And 2013 batch, where the department has enhanced input from intake of 60 to 120, and this is the first batch. Still like 2013 batch, when you remember, we see that like where the department input is enhanced and we are going in the forward direction, wherein like a lot of electrical engineers, the way like the graduates are supporting the nation in various forms of whatever it is, let us say like software industry, where a lot of technical support from the application domain is required, and a lot of entrepreneuring sector. And you can see like Hyundai Mobis completely like the today's vehicle era, wherein like electric vehicle is the hot research topic of the today's scenario. And you can see Supriya like very nicely, like the way she is into the GE aspects of like embedded engineer, the blend of Raju, which is in the high level like electric erection department. So very pride to see the moments of this panel, wherein like reflections of the department, and we can see like dedicated team efforts at VNR VJIT with the visionary management approach. With this, I welcome and wish all members of the panel and also our dear faculty members, like beloved faculty members and supporting staff of the department, and the August gathering of today's admission, like you can say, who are very important for us, admission seekers into the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. So coming to me, like in continuation with Dr. Poonam Upadhyay, head of the EEE department, you can see the strength of the department, wherein Madam has given very nice description about academic orientation, research orientation, and the way students are groomed in various aspects of, like you can say, the skill development. Especially when you look into skill development, here at VNR VJIT, curriculum is framed in such a way that the moment they enter into VNR VJIT, what way real-time societal problems are taken up. So to begin with, maybe like I would have a few more slides also of curriculum related aspects. When it comes to first year of electrical engineering, a lot of, you can say like multidisciplinary approach is mentioned here. As Madam has suggested, like computer orientation is there given to student, and along with our electrical impact, wherein lot of logical and analytical skills will be developed the day when they enter into the developed in the sense groomed from their careers of, like you can say, from +1 and +2 onwards. And then apart from that, we always look into the design courses wherein, which is the mindset of an engineer to look into the societal problems, real life problems, what are surrounding them, and accordingly like how they can provide a simple solution for that. So in that scenario, students are groomed from first year onwards. Okay. So when it comes to, we see that in the first year, end of the first year, student will come out with prototype models, wherein like they can take up a traffic problem or a water related issues and how the pollution aspect, this kind of scenario, how various branches of engineering students will be clubbed together. So here the way like team spirit is, and also like multidisciplinary domains and exposure of various engineering technologies, peer learning, all these things are well addressed when we frame the curricular structure itself. That is one aspect. When it comes to when they travel towards the journey of maybe like second year of engineering, they cherish the department. Faculty real expertise will enter into there, where you can say into the multiple domains of electrical machines, you can say, and electronics is a part wherein department has a good expertise team, wherein like all electronics oriented subjects also we take up, and we always take a course project in every, most of the subjects, like where lab link is there, and students will get hands-on experience, because today's industry needs the ready students like who are able to take up the skill oriented, you can say like a lot of competency where it is required. So in that scenario, department always grooms the students and guides them with their own hands-on how they can take it up. Lot of advancements are taken up, and looking into the latest industry trends, the curriculum is oriented. You can say like starting from 2011 onwards, every year curriculum is strengthened, and with a lot of inputs from, you can say like all students here, alumni and most of the graduating students. Still I can remember like where the panelists here also have given some of the impressions, like how semiconductor device, a lot of emphasis should be given, where a lot of research is going on, where Subramani used to tell. Still I recall the comment what he has written in my course and survey. And obviously like we have gone into a course where IISc link professor from IISc Dr. L. Omanan, who is very expertise in hardware engineering, and that those course contents are now into the curriculum. So that is how meticulously we look at the student feedback on various curricular development as well as department development issues, and we at most try our level best how we can fit into that for the benefit of the future batches of engineering graduates like who are required for in our nation building. And that is one of the aspects like I can address here, where curriculum always addresses the latest trends. And apart from that, when you look into the second year, most of the core engineering courses we deal with, because we strongly believe that our electrical engineers all over the world, they are leading in many of the companies. Like we always argue with many of the potential, like whatever discussions, brainstorm discussions, School of Electrical Engineering is maybe like the father of engineering branches for the whole, you can say like other generated branches. Like today's trend where parents, like we advise the parents, like when you look into the multidisciplinary approach and when the child is groomed, our student is groomed in various levels of disciplines, like lot of, you can say like potential will be there where they can address any kind of solution in their real life. So that is where like you should not hesitate, like the branch of engineering. Always when parent approaches us, I always tell like from the beginning, there are many students who will come here like with lot of suspicion, like electrical engineering is tough and curriculum, faculty are tough, labs are tough, all these things. But we are making the student ready to face any kind of situation. It's not toughness, it is their ability and skill development. So that is how the orientation is always taken up. Students will remember it because still we remember our electrical machines lab in Andhra University, which day it is, on Tuesday and afternoon, and still like no sleep on Sunday also. So likewise, we still remember the moments like wherein lot of caution we go ahead, and the way like we care about various logical orientations that we have to handle in real life scenario also. So coming to after core engineering touch, in third year onwards, what we have taken up here is with the emerging trends of like today's technology is changing very fast. So in that scenario, how to make our aspiring graduates of the future industry to look into the various surrounding technologies and also cope up. In that direction, we have designed, Institute has designed open electives also into artificial intelligence and machine learning, data science, you can say like robotics, 3D printing and autonomous vehicles, and you can IoT, like that, various domains of engineering fields, like wherever today's scenario is required, with a lot of application oriented approach. And we take the courses in level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and by the end of that completion of all 4 courses, they are into that particular domain based on their choice of, maybe like you can say flexible curriculum. That multidisciplinary aspect we have addressed whatever is there with us in the limited the autonomy we are having. And now Institute is looking at, because university is also coming up with the proposal of offering minor and honor degrees, and we are very proactive in that, and we are going ahead with that design of minor and honor courses also, where student gains additional credits and look into their future careers wherever they are interested in. That is the maybe like orientation where student has to take it up, and though they are into any domain of engineering field, they can choose their career into, like let us say I wanted to be a data science engineer, or I wanted to work in machine learning related applications. So in those aspects, our curriculum is addressing that, and moreover, the way like use cases are designed in various emerging technologies also, students are always given exposure on that. And I am very happy to note here, basically like whenever we take up the project, any of the faculty, our expertise of the department, we are very happy and proud to see that they are absorbed into various core industry as well as technically application oriented industry places also. Because I can say the names of like a few of the students also, where Monica is working in one of the electrical vehicle related industry, and in their careers they are really like going beyond our expectations also. And even whenever I see like Dr. Ramesh Babu sir, who is expert in electrical machine, and many of our expertise, the way like he takes projects also in transformer industry, students are absorbed in very high level, like where inrush current problem is projected, where we have approached Vijay Electrical, today's Toshiba, and accordingly like MTech students also into Hyundai Mobis, where I think Hyundai Motors, where our faculty have given recent, just now like Poonam madam has addressed about training, like academia is training industry people is really like a good, you can say like insight of the department, where department has good exposure towards the industry connect activities and MOUs also. So that is how like we have expertise level of faculty here, like lot of senior orientation of the faculty like Dr. Krishna Kumari madam, Dr. Venu sir, And many of our group of faculty members who are working into power system and power electronic domains are grooming the students into their future careers. Few names I might have said, but every one of our faculty member, like you can see the website also for their orientation, where how the reflections of the department they are carrying. Okay, that is how you can say like multidisciplinary approach with the support of the faculty team and laboratory also, as madam has mentioned. Time to time, how to upgrade the laboratories is one of the major curricular demand. And when it comes to the third year and fourth year, students are into the professional domains. You can say, like suppose I'm very much, one student is very much interested into the like ABB level, the way like some students are working into electrical drive related. We have a few of the students like into various branches of electrical engineering, you can succeeding in their careers. So that also like through website you can get the connect, and those domains are leading them, like power electronics domain, you can say pure machines related design aspects. And when you look into the IoT domain, sensors related applications, and how the student has taken up 6 courses, like when you can understand, when 6 courses are designed in a stream, it is nothing but their domain is very strong. Like Supriya, the way like she is working into embedded. I still understand like for that batch itself, like a lot of electronics orientation into the curricular aspects. In addition to the actual curriculum, we used to give additional training programs also to the students. Now it is continuing in that direction, and in those aspects, like curriculum is very strong to face any kind of career, like to lead their future into various careers, whether you can say like industry orientation or software related, you can say where technical aspects and also like software design aspects are well thought process given into the curriculum. And when you look into the higher studies, our students are really exceedingly doing well into their MS as well as the PhD careers. And you can see entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs are evolved from the department. And you can say always whenever we see alumni connect, I discuss in various meetings where institute level, alumni from EEE department has a lot of connect with the department. So this is again like we can claim it as a pride point in the institute level. And a lot of interconnect with the mechanical department, automobile department, ECE, EIE. Madam, like all faculty and head of the department takes well balanced approach in the department, including like the CSE IT, the way like we are into the emerging technologies. Always our students are trained to face the real time scenarios, like in the you can say in the process of nation building. That is how it is. Maybe like well addressed for all the careers of the engineers, and electrical engineering is the hub of institute wherein like a lot of branches are emanated. So in that connect, like I appreciate the interest of the admission seekers to visit the department and facilities and interact with the faculty and interact with alumni of the department, and you can always like take it ahead with a lot of confidence and pride in your ward. Okay, thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So it has indeed been very elaborate discussion about curriculum and aspects, which has helped your students also to excel in the various kinds of domains they have taken up as their career options. And today we have the panel members also coming from diverse backgrounds, which we can see. So I would like to introduce the panel first before we go into the discussion aspects of various things related to EEE. So first I would like to introduce Mr. Jagadeshwar Chintalpalli. So he has done his BTech from VNR VJIT in the year 2004, and he has worked with an IT company for 2 years before going for his master's from University of Illinois at Springfield. So later, while working for the US Department of Education at US, so his desire to become an entrepreneur has taken up, and he has come relocated to India, wherein he has started a few startups, and finally today now he is the proud entrepreneur of the unit which is self-automated or self-designed indigenous machinery, which manufactures precast concrete products. And also he is the president of VNR VJIT Alumni Association. And as Anuradha madam was mentioning. So he is a very active person in the Alumni Association. So I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Councillor ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we have on this panel Mr. Raju, who is a Deputy General Manager in Electrical Erection Department NTPC. So he also has completed his graduation from VNR VJIT from the Department of EEE in 2004. He has initially joined US Transco as AE Operations, and later on he has shifted to NTPC and he has served NTPC in various capacities. So he right now is working as the equipment commissioning in the equipment commissioning department and equipment erection department, where he is working as a Deputy General Manager EED NTPC at Ramagundam. Welcome you, sir. Mr. Raju, sir, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Next, we have Mr. Vishwateja, who is a technical specialist in HIL and SIL plant model development area for diesel and gasoline and electrical vehicles, handling a team of 8 people in Robert Bosch, Bangalore. And he is also a part of our Alumni Association, where he is working as a joint secretary for our Alumni Association of VNR VJIT. Welcome, Mr. Vishwateja.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we have Supriya also, who is another graduate from the College of VNR VJIT EEE department. She is currently working as embedded systems development engineer in GE, in the grid solution GE renewable energy. She is working as embedded software development engineer in the R&D section, and she has done in various capacities like application software engineer and associate power systems division in CPRI Bangalore previously. So welcome, Supriya. Thank you for joining us in today's panel discussion.
Yeah, it's a privilege to be here, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So it's really indeed a great pleasure to have you all today here. And also, as I told, looking at the panel, I can see that you're all into various domains. So one is an entrepreneur, one is into NTPC, the core domain, the other one is an embedded systems developer. So we can see the diversity here itself in the panel itself. So before I start off with Jagadishwar, let me start off with Jagadishwar.
Sorry to interrupt. I think you missed another panelist.
Okay.
I don't know.
Subramanian.
Yeah, Subramani, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I can introduce if you want me to say about Subramani. He is the youngest alumni in this group.
From the Deloitte, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was doubting that.
Yeah, Subramani is a youngest alumni in this group, and 2017 pass out, right, Subramani?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and he is working with Deloitte, working as a software engineer, and mostly he works in capturing, compiling, and transforming risk sensing data to perform analytics or customized web UIs and BI dashboards. And proud to say that he is also one of the BOS member in our mathematics group, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mathematics group. So he always tells us like what should be there, what they should study in our, what engineer should study in mathematics. Like we always gets his feedback. So Kanti Sudha, over to you. I'm sorry, like I interrupted here.
Kanti Sudha, madam, I wanted to add one point here. I still remember the way Subramani has interacted with Dr. Poonam madam when I was head of the department that time, whether to take this branch or not. Like I think after some time Subramani can like how madam has inspired and
I was the first person who interacted with him.
I still remember that and coming to the admission into electrical department, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Definitely, ma'am. We'll definitely take the insights of Mr. Subramaniam. Thank you, Poonam ma'am, for introducing Mr. Subramaniam. I'm sorry to miss out on that aspect. So next we'll just go ahead with the panel. So let me first put a question to Mr. Jagadishwar, since he is also a very active member of our Alumni Association. Sir, can you tell us how your department has given you an opportunity to excel in the field, whatever you have taken as your career?
Okay. So, like you already introduced me, like we belong to the batch, like the other panel member Raju and myself, we belong to the batch of 2000-2004. So, in those days, it was a batch of only 60 students and with limited infrastructure and limited lab facilities. Now, like Poonam madam was telling how the labs were upgraded, and another madam was also telling like how the faculty pushed the students, to achieve the goals. So, in those days, the first batch, the first year, we had a combination of all the branches. Like in our class, in the first year, we had students from IT, ECE, civil, not civil, but mechanical and other branches. So we got this opportunity of, understanding all branches. So that was the one thing we got in the first year. And later when we entered the second year, that is the core of the Triple E. I would like to thank first Anuradha ma'am, Poonam ma'am, Ramesh Babu sir, and then Brahmaya sir and Sridhu Naidu sir, who has, given us a proper guidance in understanding the basic concepts. I always emphasize on the basics of the concepts. Today, what I am in the position is because of the understanding towards the basics of the concepts. So that played a major role. The same thing I have applied to my life as I, proceed. I applied it to every firm or every company where I worked for. So again, in those days, like it was not about only the concepts, marks also. Like Anuradha ma'am, I still remember, it was tough for us, in those days getting some internal marks. So Anuradha madam was very liberal. When I got some for 20, it was 20, internal marks were for 20. So say if I got around 15 or 16, I used to go to ma'am, I think this is almost correct. So she used to add one more half mark or 1 mark to that. But whereas the other, the then faculty members KM Ramsaur, other Brahmaya sir, they were very rigid. They wanted us to finish and do as per their requirements. So that made us tough. So we had to, inculcate or, get used to those tough situations also to get that one extra mark. So in that way, department has given us all the understanding from the concepts to scoring of the points, the marks. And at the same time, since now when we recently visited the college, the infrastructure and the lab facilities have improved in such a way that, I tell the next students, to move to every corner of the college and, explore the hidden potential in yourself. Because now it is equipped with full of facilities. You can try any, whatever experiment you want to do, and, that is the kind of the encouragement we got from the department.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving an insight into how your department has helped you on your career front. Next, I would
Madam, I would like to add about Jagdishwar. The way he switch over his career, it's I can really. It is a lot of challenge already entrepreneur, and the way he switches over from one domain to another domain, you can say solar he has excelled. And now when we look into he comes to our civil department also from electrical department. That's why I told it is a legacy of electrical department. He consults with the civil department, the way how consultancy and related aspects also. And thank you, Jagdishwar, and wish you good luck in all your endeavors.
Thank you. The department has given me that confidence, that challenge, open up for the new challenges. Again, if you see my profile also, I have worked for an IT company, I have started a solar startup company, now I am into civil, precast manufacturing. And the life goes on, right? You're not at one stage of life. It's not at the end of your career or something. So even I am open up to new challenges, new startups. So, but what I have learned in my college during those days is that you have to open up for new challenges. You have the confidence, getting the confidence in you to start up. Don't fear for anything. You just face it. Instead of it coming on you stand up and you face it so that you are on the lead position.
Yeah, you are a great inspiration for the youngsters.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jagdishwar. Next, I would like to ask Supriya. So Supriya is an embedded software developer. So Supriya, so how do you think your Triple E discipline has helped you in getting this opportunity in this sector, especially embedded, so which is again mostly treated as an electronics domain. How come you from EEE have landed up with an embedded systems developer job over there, and how your department has helped you in that aspect?
Sure, ma'am. So actually, when you say embedded, I wouldn't say it is completely electronics. It is a system. So any system would have an input and output. And being in electrical engineering, everything that we learn is about a system, be it an electrical machine or any control system, or see our grid itself. We generate and we also distribute. So and we need the balance there. Being an embedded engineer, I would say that I got the skills. I equip the skills today that I have with the problem solving abilities and all that I have achieved during my engineering years. It has definite weight. It has given me the confidence and the ability to think. Any engineering department will equip the student with these skills, but especially when you come to electrical engineering, it has been continuously evolving, and the way you approach a problem is something that you especially learn from this department. So that can be applied to anything, like in your personal life, professional life. It will give you the ability to think. My role right now involves in understanding the power system or the protection algorithms that we apply to our grid. So all these areas I am exploring. I would say I am not an expert yet. Is the basics. The basics, as Mr. Jagdishwar rightly put out, is that my engineering you all here have provided me, and that is where I have been first exposed to such things. Okay, this is there in the industry, so I can do that, or I can do this. We had many basic subjects, we had the labs and all. So I'm thankful, and I would say that it is the first stage of my inspiration. Again, embedded means it's like you do have electronics, you do have the communication part, but in order to know the system, you should also know not only the programming or the communications, but also the basic knowledge of how a system works. All those things I have actually achieved or equipped from my engineering studies.
Yeah, thank you, Supriya. Thank you for giving that insight into how your department has helped you in your in establishing a career in that particular sector. Next, I would like to hear from Mr. Vishwateja. Sir, I would like to know one thing. Whenever an aspirant comes to admission section, they keep asking me this question. EEE is the toughest branch, I hear. And as you are saying, you're all hardcore guys or hardcore ladies who have done a EEE. So how do you answer this question, especially from the parents' perspective? So is it really the toughest branch? So what is your say on this?
Yeah, firstly, hi all. Ma'am, I'm still not sir yet. I still feel as a student in the college. So I'm afraid of, or I'm really conscious whenever I come to the college, even it is very 11 years or something. Yeah, jokes apart, I really have very good panel members here, and very good morning to all. The question really apt to me because when I joined EEE, I was a little afraid when I was coming to the course itself, how it could be. I really don't have the knowledge towards it, how I will be evolving there, what kind of inputs I'll be getting, I will really succeed or not by the fourth year. But what I say is EEE is something like a center of a circle, where a person can go at any point of level. Yeah, and the support what we get from the the competency metrics you can see from the EEE department itself. Poonam ma'am, Anuradha ma'am, Radhika ma'am, they are like legends, I would say, in their topics itself. And whatever the question we go to them, or the inquiry or the query what we have, we get a very simple answer that will definitely help us. But I would say never afraid of EEE. You should enjoy it because take my example itself, where I came with a zero knowledge. A person can come with as a very base level knowledge also, but at the end the disciplinary level, what the course is giving you, the triple department itself, or the knowledge what you're getting. Now we are into other sectors also. They're teaching us AI, database, or Python, MATLAB, Simulink. We can get into any field easily. We are not just like a random circuit drawing people, just they are there. Yeah, we are into every other sector also. And for the first year itself, you can say me as a zero level or base level engineer without no knowledge. At the end, the infrastructure, what we have, the labs, the library, the competency metrics in the college, everything made me as a hero at the end. Yeah. So I would say, not too afraid of it. Enjoy the triple life, I would say. And if you see also ordering, whenever you do the advertising of a college, you see ECE, CSC, IT, triple E, then you see there also we are at the center. Yeah, I would say never be afraid, and it will be really a worth that when you join triple E. Now you see EV is evolving, electric vehicle. Everyone thought that software engineers will be into this car development or something, or mechanical engineers. But you see there we have inverters, DC to DC converters, or motors, everything. There a complete electrical and electronics engineer is fitting in there. So we have a lot of opportunities available, and try to enjoy it. Someone can learn it one day, someone can learn it in 1 week, but definitely we will enjoy this course. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Vishwateja.
I think, Kanti Sudha,
yes,
this
ma'am.
question you can answer to Subramani also.
I'll get there, ma'am. I just want to really, clarify the doubts of parents. I see many parents walking in with various kinds of questions related to triple E. So I just will make an effective use of all the panelists in your panel so that I can address my parents also.
To add to Supriya and Vishwateja, just Supriya's the way like exploring has given how the graduate attribute like lifelong learning can happen, and Vishwateja when it comes to like how the student can address complex engineering issues also. Okay, this is how like a parent has to like take into the curriculum driving towards these kind of outcomes wherein lifelong learning is required in any field, as like Jagdishwar is mentioning, and Vishwateja, the way like various technological aspects, how they can apply and all these things, like you can always like cherish the way like they are addressing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for adding that up. So next I would like to tell the parents and students, I think one of them has raised his hand. Sir, you can type in the chat box so that we will address you at the later point. Meanwhile, let us just hear out the panelists first and then we'll address the issues. Okay. So next I want to ask a question to Mr. Raju sir, who is working in NTPC. Sir, it's a dream job for any triple E engineer, I guess, because it's a core domain where you are working in right now. Sir, how do we get a job in PSUs? So that is a question which we have from the triple E students or the triple E aspirants. So can you throw some light on that?
Sure, ma'am. First of all, I am very glad to be part of this panel. I thank you, VNR VJIT, for giving the opportunity. Firstly, I would like to say, almost all central PSUs, state PSUs, and government jobs without triple E. There is no PSU without triple E background employees. So the triple E background people also have the scope to reach the top level of the companies. Most of the CMDs, board of directors, chairmen of PSUs and some government entities are from electrical and mechanical background. Most of them are electrical background. So I can say there is no need to worry. There are a lot of lot of opportunities in public as well as private sectors, and there is a lot of research is going on in EV, solar and energy efficient technologies. So a lot of good graduates and are required in triple E. I suggest who are the parents here to opt for triple E. There is no need to worry with people. I also felt like it is very tough, but it's not at all. Up to 12th, I studied in Telugu medium. In the engineering itself, I came to English medium. I am from a small town, and for my engineering only, I reached Hyderabad. That is the first time I visited Hyderabad after completing 12th. So that much of difficulties were there for me. But VNR VJIT nurtured me like anything. At that time, in 2004 itself, they have a very good library and communication facility. They have tie-up with this so-called APS RTC. They will really give care like their own child to the students. I really thank. And there are many opportunities like NTPC, ONGC, IOCL, Power Grid, all oil sector and power sector and processing industries, automation industries, robotics, whatnot. A triple background graduate can enter into any field. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So clearly you have told us where Tripoli is. And I think many of us are aware that a lot of PSUs do advertise posts mostly in the Tripoli branch. So it's a very good sector where you can go into. PSUs also is one of the very good options. So before that, other aspects. So let me get to Subramani, because another important question which the parents keep asking. So can we get into software jobs? So since you are an example of that right now, which we can see, so I want your perspective on that aspect.
Yeah, so no matter which engineering branch that you go into, it's not at all difficult for us to go into software engineering. So basically, when it comes to EEE, I will say this gives us a lot more flexibility into choosing which career path that we'd want to go into. So when it is for software, right, so generally the circuit branches are preferred over other branches when we are sitting for placements or trying to get into the domain of software engineering. Now, at the end of the day, what do electrical engineers do? We control the circuits, we control the way the power is distributed, and also the theory and the subject that we learn here requires a lot of analytical thinking. So all of that is actually very beneficial for us to go into the domain of software engineering. One thing that helped me a lot to go into software engineering and data science per se, which is the domain that I'm currently working on, is building a story. So when I was here doing my graduation in electrical engineering, I mean, there are a lot of instances where I've learned a lot of things. In the interest of time, I can't go into each of them. But yeah, one instance is with electrical machines. I still vividly remember Ramesh Babu sir explaining the theory or the way the system works. It's basically building a story out of saying a certain set of components are interacting with the other systems to do certain set of outputs that are actually required for it to work. At the end of the day, in data science as well, we also do the same thing. We have data in unstructured, semi-structured, and structured formats in different places. At the end of the day, as a data engineer, our role is actually to paint a story, understand how the data is actually there, and then visualize it in a manner that the business stakeholders understand what are the problems that are currently there and how to actually address them. So this is actually something that's very much helpful to go into any domain per se, but yeah, in data science, this was very much instrumental for me to get into. So, and the other aspect is one small pointer that came up, right? So when I actually joined VNR Vignan Jyoti, I was not very sure if I had to join electrical engineering department. I had approached Poonam ma'am about it. I was actually inclined to move into mechanical engineering at that point of time because, I mean, I completed my +2. I had no idea as to what branch of engineering to choose. And at that point of time, the fad in the market was that go into mechanical engineering, that's going to give you a lot of aspects and all. After I interacted with Poonam ma'am, I exactly told the statement and she was like, electrical engineering is like the powerhouse of everything. We are actually the people who provide power to all the systems that are present in the broader network and also control that, right? So at the end of the day, signals are what controls the system. So without us, it's not possible for any system to function. So talking into all those things, it actually helped me to choose this branch, and I'm really glad that I took this opportunity into electrical engineering, and that's given me a lot of fruitful results. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you all the faculty for that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Subramani. So you have very nicely put it out, so how it has helped you in securing a job. And I do think that the students of EEE or the parents who are wishing to join their wards into EEE branch need not worry about whether you will land up in a software job or a core job, because you have, VNR actually provides equal amount of opportunities in the varied fields, and you will be pretty much appreciative of all the initiatives that we are taking from the department end to cater to the needs and interests of the students. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Subramani. So next I would like to ask Mr. Jagadishwar. Sir, what do you think is the role of EEE in the nation building? Right now we see that Mr. Modi is talking about Make in India and all these things. So how do you think EEE plays a role here at least?
Right. Like the other panel members, they were saying, like, Supriya, Subramani, Vishwateja, Raju. See, the electrical engineering will give you the logical and analytical thinking of the concepts. So it's not that, doing electrical engineering will end up in the core jobs. Like, we are all examples, right? All the panel members, we work in different domains. So now, like Modi is saying, Make in India and the new industrialization, new revolution. So to understand what is the new industrial revolution, to survive it, we need to lead it. So, and for that, you need to have two things. One is awareness of the new technology. What are the new technologies coming up in the market? Maybe in the field of electrical engineering, IT, embedded systems, core side, whatever it is. First, you need to understand what are the technologies evolving in the market. And next is to develop the talent that can make the most of the technology. So first is the technologies. You need to have the awareness of the new technologies and the talent to utilize the technologies. So in that way, the EEE has given us the extra knowledge, that is the logical and analytical thinking of the concepts.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you on that. So next I would like to ask Mr. Vishwateja. Mr. Vishwateja, since you have mentioned about AI and ML, IoT, all these emerging technologies, whatever are there in this particular scenario, this context. So how do you think the EEE students have an opportunity to excel in these particular fields, all these emerging technologies, and do they have any kind of such provision in the curriculum wherein they can be on par with other branches of engineering also?
Yeah. So ma'am, this is one of the emerging topic also where people are really interested in the counterparts or the customers. Yeah. And to be frank, one example I can give you right away here, we have done interviews recently for the engineering students for internship program. We have selected 11 for AI program. In that, 7 were from EEE. Yeah, and 4 were from some ECE. So how are we dominating here? What really AI will help us an electrical engineer, and can we go into this through? Definitely. There is so much of that can be done with an intelligent model that human effort can be reduced. Yeah, efficiency can be improved, quality can be, no compromise can be done. And also the ML side or the data science, what Subramani has told, there is a lot of data available now. How to customize it, stream it, place it at the right place. Definitely, we as an engineers are required. Let's say now we take the Elon Musk in developing a Tesla electrical vehicles. They don't just go for every model from the scratch. They have a lot of data. They take over it. They do the data science over it. They get the output out of it. There we need the electrical experts, in understanding it, and also the AI, the intelligent model to develop it. So our people are there more, to learn it. Of course, it could be Python. Object oriented, they say, it looks for the CSC people or IT people. No. We are also there. Definitely now they read. As I say, the interview itself took for 11 people and there 7 are from EEE. I would say that we are into this world and we need to look forward for this. And as rightly said, Poonam ma'am and Anuradha ma'am or the faculty team itself, our curriculum is also very disciplined now. They have made it step by step, learn for this, next to this, next to this. So it's very like a very easy manner they have established now, and it is definitely needed now.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Vishwateja. Thank you for elaborating on that. So next I would like to ask Supriya. Supriya, how do you think your curriculum is designed to cater to all these emerging trends or the latest technologies? Since you're working as an embedded system development there, so how do you think your curriculum has helped you to be on to gear up for the advancements that are happening right now?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. That's an interesting question, I would say. So to put first, in the first year, I mean, when I was doing my engineering, we had the common subjects like the maths, C programming, chemistry, physics, etc. So I would say that in the first year, it gave me the general engineering skills that any student that would grab, the problem solving and all. And when we came into the core subjects and all, we also had the electronics. That's why we say that electrical and electronics. The main difference that BE and the electronics engineers don't have is the communication part, maybe. But that on job you can easily achieve all those. And one more thing, like when I was studying, there was this quote everybody used to say, like, okay, you're going to a software job. It means like it is like learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's what they used to say. But when I think about it, the life is our life is about it. Like everybody here are putting up. You have to be in par with the technological developments that is happening day to day. You have to learn, you have to grow. If you want to grow in your position, if you want to achieve that, you want to climb that career ladder, you are supposed to relearn. That's what, like, and the curriculum, what Poonam was projecting today, I'm like, okay, why didn't I do my engineering this year, like today or tomorrow? I mean, the new courses, the electives that you guys are providing, it's amazing. And I know the effort that the faculty is putting. Even it's the same case with you all, I would say. Like, even the electrical is not the electrical that when you studied, or it has been evolving. So you are also, trying to be par with the technological trends, and you are providing to the students. You want them to achieve. You want them to, when they are taking this course, it doesn't mean that okay, you just get a BTech degree. It's not the case. It's like you want them to excel, and I see that you are trying a lot to do that, and that I would say would help any student with the curriculum updates that is happening in advancement to technologies. It is required and it is happening, and everybody should be thankful to that. Yeah, that's all I think I covered.
Yeah, thank you, Supriya. Yeah, as you told, the faculty also gear up with the latest advancements, and our curriculum is also designed to be very dynamic thanks to the academic section and Dean Academics and the ma'am, who puts in a lot of efforts to ensure that the students are on par with the latest technologies. So next I would like to ask Mr. Subramani, so since you are from a EEE background, so how do you find the peer pressure? So compared with your other branches, so do you think it's a difficult thing in your software job, whatever you're doing, or do you think that I'm just able to cope up with along with other branches also?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very easily able to cope up with the software engineering department, because everything that is there, that is required for us to build software, is not that difficult to learn. So after having dealt with a lot of analytical topics that I studied in electrical engineering, all I had to do was just draw some analogies between this branch of engineering into the other branch, and then I was easily able to learn those things. And when it comes to peer pressure, right, so this kind of might seem like a counterintuitive approach to thinking, but what I have seen is in my batch, the computer science graduates actually feel peer pressure from the electrical engineers. So the way I tell you this is happening is because so the nature of work that we do is consulting and advisory. So along with the technical aspects of things, it is very much important for us to know the industry related information. So I'm currently working in the risk sensing team, and having learned electrical engineering, I am able to understand all the industry aspect of things. For example, how semiconductor devices are being plugged into different systems when they are moving from one supplier to the other supplier in different in the supply chain process. So understanding all those things is something that I've already acquired while learning electrical engineering. But then my computer science peers have only just learned the technical aspects of it. They do not have any domain knowledge on the industry that they are working on. So they'll just be as a technical, they'll just be regarded just as a technical person. Whereas we are actually more of technical and also functional persons. At the end of the day, if we want to progress in our careers, it's very important for us to have both these knowledge to go further from there. So I really believe that the peer pressure is actually on their front, not on our front, because we have a plethora of knowledge that we've gained, and yeah, that helps us drive through any new change that comes into the market, and we can learn it very quickly and get those things done. So that's my perspective on it.
Yeah. Thank you, Subramani. Very nicely put it out. So peer pressure from other branches. So thank you on that aspect. So next I would like to ask Mr. Raju sir, who is also from NTPC. Sir, there are many students or aspiring parents who think that EEE can lead you to a government job or a PSU job. So what are the scope of opportunities that a EEE student can have with respect to the various PSUs, and how can they go about in their preparation to land up in a job like NTPC or any other PSU?
Madam, as I said, there is a lot of opportunities in the public sector and core government as well as state structure for an electrical graduate. Without power, we can't imagine today's world. So the thing is, whatever the industry you take, without an electrical engineer, the industry will not be completed. As simple as that. So in public sector also, most of the top leaders, actually they are inducted at the level of trainees, then even E2, like there are 9 grades. I joined NTPC in 2005. Now I am at E7 grade. E9 is the top grade. So I left almost 22 years of service still. So it is very easy to reach me because there are graduates of civil, mechanical, communication, instrumentation, finance, HR. So many graduate people are there, but those people doesn't have this much scope as compared to electrical. Like in Power Grid or NTPC or IOCL, ONGC, whatever the Maharatna PSUs take, electrical background engineers will be given the preference. So in that way, I can say that railways also, IES, there are, you can enter into railways and telecommunication, many are there. So if anybody want to serve for the nation, it is better to get into EEE. And also, if you get into EEE, you can join the core sector as well as you can switch over to software also. But if you join into CSC or IT, we cannot come back to join the public sectors, like they don't have much opportunity like EEE graduate. So I recommend people to opt for EEE. Whatever I am today, because I have got a chance to study in EEE, and that too from VNR VJIT. At that time in 2014, I have got opportunity during the counseling. In these days, counseling used to happen at Masap Tank area, and that JNTU, Kakinada, and VNR VJIT. So many of the people suggested me, JNTU Kakinada is a government college, why can't you opt for that? But no, I said I will go to VNR VJIT. Whatever I am today, that is due to EEE and due to VNR VJIT.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for putting across that point also, the last point. Really indeed added up to what is your thing about VNR. So as you told, even last year also we had an opening rank in the TSMSET wherein students opted for VNR in spite of getting a chance to join in universities. So I think we can proudly say that VNR has developed that culture, and there has created those amenities and facilities required for the students to excel in that aspect. So one last question to Vishwateja. Sir, how do you think professional societies, chapters, or their role is going to play a role in the student overall development, especially since we have very active professional chapters in VNR. So how was your experience and what do you comment on that?
Definitely, whatever the professional chapters that we have at our college level, that will drive us to learn very good communication skills, how to put us in a different level, and also, as I said, the logical way to approach for any topic. To be frank, now I'm one of the associate who handles the associate engagement program in Bosch. That is just because that I've handled the dramatics club, that was happening in our college, yeah? And I was also core member for the Corona, our technical fest name, which correlates to the present scenario also. But still, I was there as a lead, and also I was analyzing them, and also I was taking part in the PPT presentations, counting them, what was the count, managing them financially, everything in the college. To be frank, the college makes a associate or the engineer to develop himself as a self-dependent, not to depend on anything, go on your individuality, development and all. And our college is also associate driven, always, it's a associate aspect. So these professional chapters, whatever we have, really gives us a broader perspective. Go there, pitch in there, give your ideas, learn them. That's how we are all there now. And when I was telling about this dramatics thing to the first interview that I was faced in Tech Mahindra, he said that, the interview panel, that can you make this also happen in our company? They were that impressed that how the VNR is providing these opportunities at the era that I'm going to take you from 2004 to 7. Yeah. And now our team has developed very well. Everything is virtualized now. Yeah. Even in this virtual world, the college is providing very great opportunities now. Yeah, and they're spending huge amount in this, what we say, the emerging topic that you take in this charging standard itself, where our EEE people are going and training them or giving the idea on the lower cost, providing the efficiency and the quality. This is all coming from the professional chapters itself, IEEE or whatever the technical chapters we have. I would say that drives a student to any level. Yeah. And I would say I'm the best example now, leading an associate engagement of close to 90 people. That's never an easy job that I got from the college itself, definitely with the chapters what I faced and I used. Yeah. So thanks team there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Vishwateja. Thanks for coming it out from you, because we just want to say that whoever student joins in any of the branches in Vienna, we try to bring out that sort of roundedness, well-roundedness to all the students, irrespective of from what background they do come from. So we want to ensure that there is an overall development that happens, and we create the right kind of platforms and opportunities for them at every instance of time, so that they pursue their passion with more interest and they excel in that thing. Thank you for putting that last point. And one last round to all of you. As a parent, if I come across to you asking for how do you suggest EEE branch? Should I go for it or not? So how do you answer this question to a parent? So we'll start off with Mr. Jagadishwar. Sir, if a parent comes to you and asks you, sir, can I take up EEE branch? So what do you suggest, sir?
Okay. First, any parent comes they ask, the first question is like, is the EEE tough, right? So that's what we have answered in this session and everything. So even my son, since I'm the alumni president, I went and visit the college. So once it happened that, I had to take care of my son, and I had this meeting at the college the last year. So I took him to the college. I brought him along with me to the college. And so he said, so one day I will also join the same college and I will also be the president of the Alumni Association, something like this he was telling. So I told him, which branch you want to join? So he asked me, which branch did you study? So I said, it's electrical and electronics engineering. So he said, is it tough? I said, it's tough compared to other branches, but you get most opportunities to learn and explore your hidden potential. So then he said the same answer. Even I will do the tough because I want to do the toughest things first and the easier things later in my life. So there comes my answer. So definitely, right?
Yes,
when I'm asking my son himself to join the EEE, why not the others?
Yes, sir. Definitely, a very good answer which you have given. Next, I would like Supriya to take up the question. There is a question in the chat box where they are asking that if your subject knowledge has been useful in designing an embedded system, and since they are an aspiring embedded engineer, they want to know how it can happen. Supriya, can you answer this?
Sure, ma'am. Yeah, Teja, I saw that. First of all, I'm no ma'am. I'm just Supriya. So yes, as I said, my job it involves developing embedded system for our electrical grid. So when I was curating my career, I was very keen that I only go into a core industry, and that's how I landed up initially testing protection relays of different manufacturers in CPRI, and from there I got in contact with the manufacturers, and that's how I met the GE industry people, and how I went to the industry. But yeah, but to answer your question in a generic sense, any job posting that you see for an embedded role, they do ask for a triple E engineer. You see ECE, triple E, and then only comes CSE and other things. And yeah, the basic in any system, any embedded system, it is a system. It is a simple system. Input, system, and output. The system does something for you, and it will give you a desired output. That's all. So the control systems or the machines or anything, if you have the basic knowledge, and it would definitely help. All the programming things that is happening today, C program, Embedded C, or the Python program, there are a lot of MOOC courses available out there, and you can pick up that at any point in your life. So it will definitely help. And also to add, as I said earlier, the problem solving skills. That also I would say that I have achieved, or I got that inspiration from our basic electrical engineering course. Be strong with your basics, and any job posting you would see for an embedded, you would see that they would look for a triple E engineer.
Yeah, thank you, Supriya. Thank you on that. Thank you on that. So next, I would like to take this question to Mr. Raju, sir. Sir, how do you advise a parent or a student related to the triple E branch, since you are from the PSU? So what would you say to a parent who wants to join their wards in triple E branch?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I can say one thing. When we were joining engineering in 2000, at that time C++ used to there. Then Java, whatever I know, I'm saying little bit, whatever the knowledge I'm having, I'm sharing. Then Visual Basics, SharePoint, nowadays .NET, SharePoint, many technologies, Python, these many technologies are entered. So if we go to triple E, we will be having hands-on with science, combination of science, mathematics, and logical thinking, which will be useful for the entire life. If we opt other branches, we will be learning some languages which may not be in existence in near future. Because for the past 20 years, I'm observing languages are these communications are improving a lot, and languages are changing frequently. So that are not permanent. But whatever we study in triple E will be permanently useful for our life, and with this background we can work in any stream of the industry. That much I can say. So I should suggest people to go for triple E and opt for triple E. They can really take use of it and for their betterment of the life.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for that insight. Next, I would like to take this question with Subramani. Subramani, so if a parent comes to you and asks you, so is my ward going to be landing up in a software job if he takes triple E? Because ultimately nowadays we see that students or the parents have short-term goals rather than thinking the long-term goals. So they just want them to be right after their engineering. They want them to be into a job, and especially the software job, because they think it's a cool job. I don't know. The reasons are unknown to them, or probably due to societal pressure. So what do you say, Subramani, on this?
Well, yeah. So if you are talking specifically with regards to electrical engineering, right? So as I've earlier emphasized, whatever we learn in electrical engineering, after we move into software, it doesn't mean that whatever we learned here is not useful at all. Most of it is useful if we are actually paving our way in the correct direction. So we can still move into the industries relevant to EEE, like energy, oil and gas, moving into industries such as automobile, where a lot of electronic components are ingested. So having functional knowledge of this in the beginning stage of the career helps us to a very great extent when we are doing all the risk sensing and all the data analysis on this front. Now coming to the coolness of software engineering, yeah, I really believe that it's very cool. Owing to the flexibility that we get to work as a software engineer, the work culture is fantastic. So it's very much changing on a daily basis, and that is actually good, right? Because on a daily basis we are actually developing, evolving ourselves to be better professionals. So it's not stagnated. I mean, I wouldn't say government sector is stagnated, but yeah, I would say that this is a lot more free flowing. And getting into a software industry just out of societal pressure doesn't make sense, but you should join the software sector because you're interested in it. And there are a lot of benefits that you will be getting when you are entering into the software industry, right? And coming to the other part, right? At the end of the day, technology is something that we have to learn, no matter which industry or which branch of engineering that you are learning. So that is something that you will have to learn. But alongside that, having functional knowledge and if you are able to develop the analytical capability, and as Jagdishwar sir earlier mentioned, do tough things in the beginning and do easier things later. So if you learn all those things in the beginning, it's going to be very helpful for you in order to have a much better thinking model, so that you are able to use technology to harness that potential and bring better outcomes.
Well put, Subramani. Thank you on that. So next, lastly, I would like to bring that question to Vishwateja also. Vishwateja, can you tell me how does your brand stand out across all the branches of engineering? So if a parent is coming to you with these options, so how do you tell him about this particular branch of yours?
Yeah, to every parent and the student, whether it is CSC, mechanical, ECE, IT, there is a hidden electrical engineer there. Yeah. For example, if a power supply goes, we don't wait for an electrical engineer, we just go and see the fuse firstly. Yeah. And where there is a power supply or bulb gone, we just open and see filament, something is gone. So I would say encourage the student, don't let that electrical engineer to die inside him. Yeah. And also if you take the school time, we just take one small motor and connect a battery and one plastic fan to it, and we think of ourselves like a scientist there. Yeah. But there is no C programming inside or something like this. A CSC student can do this, IT student can do this. So every engineer inside is an electrical engineer who is hidden. Yeah. Try to bring him out, enhance him, encourage them, motivate them in this scenario. As it's very simple, as Supriya or Subramani was telling, keep an input, get an output. You have a processing inside, a closed loop is set up, understand the closed loop, whatever it is. So we are the engineers now, we are into every sector, could be mechanical, medicine engineer or medical engineering, automotive engineering, IT side, data science, emerging market, whatever it is. I would say encourage the student now, one of the simplest I would say, because the curriculum, now the management has decided or developed it, it's very easy to take it now, yeah, to the advancement also. So we stand at the peak position as a EEE engineers, and I would encourage all the students to take it up. We have a very good competency matrix now, and we all are there to help you out, yeah. And also encourage every parent also to be part of it, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Vishwateja. Thank you for that. So next we have a question in the chat box, which I think Poonam madam can answer. So how to pursue masters after my engineering?
Madam, Jagdishwar is there. He is master from US.
Okay. I forgot. Yes, sir. Jagdishwar sir, you can take it up this question. I want to know how, I would like to pursue master after my engineering. I want to know how choosing EEE will help me there.
Yes, Dikshita Bandi. I would like to say that, doing your masters after engineering is a very good idea. But like I said earlier, be strong in your basics, work hard, come up with a good credentials in your engineering, and then it's an easy job for you to go into masters. And don't worry, we have very good alumni who are, in the US, both working in very reputed companies. They can guide you, and they can also, help you with the electives you want to take, and also in the later part of your job trials.
And I think like there in abroad, there is electrical and computer department together.
Electrical computers?
And I think there is no distinction between electrical and computer separately. It will be one department like electrical and computer department.
Right.
If I'm not wrong, like
Yes.
Jagdishwar can correct this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once you are done with your engineering, you can pursue your masters in any, branch you wish to.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you on that. So I hope it has answered your question, Dikshita. So another important thing which I think Jagdishwar sir also was mentioning is that VNR has got a very strong alumni network where most of the seniors do give a very good inputs and very good insights. They do help out in lot many things, both in India as well as in abroad. So they help their juniors a lot, which I have seen practically in many of the branches. And I think since you have two active people on our panel discussion who are part of the alumni association, so you need not worry at all. There will be a lot of guidance coming from their end also. So hope I am clear on this answer for Dikshita. So any other parents or students, if they want to ask their question, they can just unmute themselves and they can put forth their questions, or you can type in the chat box. We would like to answer. So the panel is there and all the experts are there related to Triply. So hope they also can give an insight into whatever doubts you have or clarifications required. So thank you for all the panel members, those who have joined us today on this holiday, taking out your time. Thank you so much for.
I have a parting thing, mom, if I can talk.
Yeah, definitely. Supriya, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I just want, this is like a general thing to all the students. Any engineering department, any college or any faculty would give you something, It's like say 60% or 70% of what you have to become, and it also lies with you. I mean, like, you should have that interest. I'm not saying that you have to go to embedded software, entrepreneur, anything. Like Anuradha madam rightly put, I have so many of my friends who are like excelling in different departments right now, and I mean, like, I take this privilege. Today I am here. Tomorrow they can be also here. It's like it is with you. If you approach on doing something, you are in the best hands. Like the college or the faculty will give you the wings. Trust me on that. And I mean, like, very all the best to all of you who are aspiring and who wants to join this college. You are definitely in the good hands, and you will definitely excel. That would be my parting thing to say.
Very well said.
Thank
I would
you.
like to add one more point to what Supriya, sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yeah, sure.
One more point to what Supriya said, and this is all the parents out there. So, the parents, please encourage your students, give them the enough freedom. And it's not like earlier 25 years where we, started our careers, or, we had only two options. We want to become an engineer or a doctor. It's now, the world has changed, There are plenty of opportunities out there. Give the students, enough freedom, and the students, also the prospective students, don't just study for the sake of studying or for the marks. I mean, just grasp the basic concepts, study with, happiness, then the subject becomes easy. It's not that you have to study. You play a video game, it's easy for you. For me, my son plays a PlayStation. I can't play that because I don't spend time on that. So if you spend time on the subjects or concepts, easy. The subject becomes easy as long as you spend time on that. So the students and the parents, this is my note from my side. Thank you. All the best.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you on that. Thanks for all the panel members, head of the department, Poonam ma'am, the spots, Mr. Srinivas sir and Shobana ma'am, and all the team who has helped us in conducting this panel discussion. A special mention of thanks to Anuradha ma'am, who has spared her time to join us. So though she's very busy with a lot of things on her hand, so she has joined us in this panel discussion. Thank you, ma'am. And thanks to
Dr. G. Radhika also who is the
Yeah.
instrumental in connecting all.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. Yeah, she has
Yeah.
a very good strong. I know she's very good with alumni, and she's in charge of that. Thank you, and Radhika ma'am also. That's what I said. The many people have worked behind also for this to materialize. So I thank from my side, especially from the admission section, to all the branches, and especially to Triple E branch also, who has brought in a very good amalgamation of people from varied domains to emphasize on the relevance of this particular branch of engineering, which is Triple E. So I do advise parents to please look into our website for any other details, or you can contact us on the admissions mail ID also, tripleadmissions@vnrvjit.in. And you also have a virtual connect program wherein you can ask for a slot with any of the faculty members, where we'll provide you with a one-to-one basis. So if you require any kind of guidance from our end. So thanks for all the parents and students who have joined us today on this day. And thanks to all the panel members, especially Jagadishwar sir, Vishwateja, Supriya, Raju sir, and Subramani, all those who have joined us today and has given a very good insight into the branch perspective. Thank you, Poonam ma'am. Thank you for supporting us in conducting this panel discussion. Thank you, ma'am.
So I thank all the panelists, all the members here, Jagdishwar and Vishwateja, Subramani, Supriya and Raju for giving their time here, and on Sunday, like they have given time and participated in this panel discussion. My department, everybody has participated offline also, like all the members who have taken role, and like all faculty member, teaching and non-teaching faculty are also involved in this activity. So thank you to everybody who have contributed for this event. Thank you so much for giving time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for moderating this, ma'am. And it was nice to see you all have a chit chat, and thanks for this. Thanks for inviting.
Thank you, ma'am. Kantisudha ma'am, you said right, one-to-one interaction with the faculty members is required. You can please add the alumni also. We are also
Yes, sir, definitely.
So
Definitely, sir. Definitely, we will take the help of alumni also.
anytime,
Yeah.
college anytime.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a good day, all. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Happy Sunday. Bye bye.